What's going on? I'm Dave and this is Spencer, and welcome to Aftermath. Welcome back to Aftermath, the sportscast, where we cover the 912 area. We just got done with the Savannah Hoops Shootout. Great weekend. We got Elite 8 football to get to. But before we dive into the episode, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram. It's where you're going to get all the news, highlights, anything like that. But we did have a good weekend. We were able to go to all four of the Shootout games this weekend. We were able to make it to the fourth quarter of the Calvary game, barely. So we'll get into that. We'll dive into that story in just a second. But first, Savannah Christian would go on the road to Lumpkin County and take care of business, winning 42-21. I believe they ran for over 400 rushing yards.
Ran for 436 yards. I want to say Zoe had 200 even, and Kenry had like 136 yards rushing. But I did see something about Savannah Christian. The last 2 weeks, they've been on the road, right? Mm-hmm. So for their offense, the last 2 weeks, they ran the ball 95 times for 770 yards. Their defense, 61 rushes, they've only given up 197 yards.
And if I'm right, Lumpkin was supposed they had the 3,000-yard rusher.
Or 2,000. He was a 2,000-yard rusher. Yep. So that O-line and D-line for Savannah Christian has definitely turned things up a notch. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what they do this week coming up.
Well, we're going to hopefully get to hear more about them this week. But BC goes and takes on the number 2 North Oconee, 1 versus 2, and they handle business as well, winning 48-26.
Yeah, it was a close, I want to say, like, first half. I want to say it was like 21-13 in the first or second quarter. But then BC ended up doing what BC does and taking over. Luke, Bryce, LaDawn, they all ended up having big games. So BC's doing what they're doing, man.
I'd say Jenkins would sadly fall this week, losing the Cinderella story. Jenkins would lose 0-35 to Cartersville.
Hey, big shout out to Jenkins.
Yeah.
Nobody expected them to make it this far. I didn't expect them to make it this far. I'm pretty sure there's some people in Jenkins' school that didn't expect them to make it this far. But that team, they locked in. They believed in themselves. They ended up making it as far as to the Elite 8. So, man, big shout out to them, bro.
I think they'll do very well in the new classifications next year.
They're down in 3A next year, so that should be really well for them.
And last but not least, the game that we were able to rush to after the basketball games, Calvary won this 42-21. This was a close game at half.
I called it.
Yeah.
I said this was going to be the game they get scored on.
Yeah.
But I still said Calvary was going to handle business, and like you said, they handled business easy. It was a good first half, though. I want to say Calvary was only up like 1 point. I think it was 21-20 at one point. When we left to go to Calvary, they just scored. Wasn't it like 28-21 or something like that? So they were only up 7. Then when we got there, it was 35-21. And then they ended up scoring one more, capping it off. I want to say Trevor Strobridge had it wasn't a game-winning interception, but the interception that just put the nail in the coffin at the end. So Calvary's looking hot. But all 3 teams are looking hot. Yeah. They all did what they needed to do. So I'm excited to see how all 3 of them perform this week coming up.
Someone brought it to our attention that Caden Arnold has 100 rushing yards in the last, or 100 receiving yards in each of the last 6 games, I believe.
5 or 6 games, yeah. Caden told me that he has over 100 receiving yards in the last 5 or 6 games. I want to say he's like 20 yards away from 1,000 yards.
Get it.
So he's gonna get he's gonna get that easy. But Caden Arnold, man, but it's between him and Kamari Maxwell for sure. It's probably the 2 most underrated football players in the city.
Yeah,
like
I can agree with that one.
Those 2 they've been balling this year.
So before we were at the Calvary game, we were at the Savannah Hoops Shootout, which was a great event this weekend. Very well put together. Shout out to them.
Big shout out.
All the teams that were there were happy to be there. All the games were pretty decent. We got to see the Savannah talent early this season. Into the first game that we were at, St. Andrews took on Groves, 2 younger teams with a lot to prove. How did you like the game?
It's kind of how I expected. A little gritty, scrappy game. All the games really were sloppy, but it was expected because these are like the first, second games that all of them are playing. I was expecting a little bit more, but then again, couldn't expect too much. But St. Andrews, they're known for like pushing the pace, hitting their threes. They weren't really hitting a lot of shots this last game, but.
See, I definitely think that was where the ball fell short. I think they ran the offense well. I think they were just missing shots. The ball was not going in.
Yeah, Groves was handling business pretty much. Number 2 and number 3, you have the stats down.
Say Tyrone Chisholm would have 15 points, 2 assists, and 6 rebounds, as well as Zayden Edwards, Zaire Edwards' little brother, would go 15, 4, and 5, leading the St. Andrews. But no teams really could open the bucket. Groves did have 3 players that would go over 10 points this week. We're interested to see if the spreading of the ball continues.
It should.
So going into the next game, Johnson would take on Savannah High. This was the nail biter, it was sloppy first quarter.
You're talking about sloppy, bro. First of all, I want to say Savannah High had like 2 points?
2 points or
the whole first quarter or something like that, but it was like a tale of 2 quarters. The first quarter, Savannah High was just turning the ball over nonstop. Then the second quarter, Johnson was turning the ball over nonstop. But then again, like I just said, it's still early, so they're still trying to just feel that chemistry and just feel it out and how things are supposed to go. But yeah, that game was sloppy. But Savannah High ended up pulling it out late at the end. Mekhi Joyner had a big game late in the fourth quarter. He was able to pull through and get them the victory. But
so I believe he had like 2 big influential blocks towards the end.
There were a couple of questionable calls there at the end too, on both sides. But there were a couple of questionable calls on Johnson's side. That was not a travel. I don't know where he got that, what he saw. That was not a travel, man. That was a clean move. But
say Joshua Quarterman's the other shout out on the Johnson side. He would put up 22 points that game. Just could not do enough for him. But that's okay because both teams would be able to play. Both teams got to able to play the next day. Going into that next one, Calvary would take on Savannah High. Savannah High looked a lot better this game.
They looked a lot better this game. You could tell that they were way more comfortable. They kind of knew how they wanted to play. They came out a lot better, with way more energy. Calvary, I don't know. Calvary seemed like just a little flat. Like they didn't really come out with a lot of energy. I don't know if that's Calvary's full team. Calvary, BC, they're still playing football right now, so it's kind of hard to really critique them until I see the full team for real. So
I will say number 11, Demetrius Brown, was hooping for Calvary, though.
He was balling.
He had 20 points altogether, but he was hooping.
Nah, he was balling. He had a really good game.
Mekhi Joyner would end up putting up 16 points that second day. So they got a good team. We're going to see how they do the rest of the season. And we were able to catch up with Coach Brown after the game. We'll play that here. We are here with Coach Brown, the head coach of the Savannah High Blue Jackets, after they just won their second game of the event. Y'all are officially 2-0 at the Savannah Hoops in history. Since the first year. How do you think your team played tonight versus last night?
I thought they were a lot more calm, a lot more poised tonight than they were yesterday. I thought the nerves kind of got out to them yesterday. I thought we played a better game just all around. We played more Savannah High basketball this time around. So today was way better than yesterday, in my personal opinion.
So y'all definitely had a rough start yesterday, a real rough start. What's something you've been preaching to your boys to keep their head in the game these past 2 days?
You guys are older now. Y'all are vets, man. It's not about the mistake that happens. It's about your response to it. So I tell our kids all the time, we pride and preach on our kids. It's not about what happens. It's about how you respond. So not trying to make the same mistakes. So also remembering that you guys are older, and eventually you're going to be the head of your household at some point in time. So you can't hang your head down. Nobody cares about your feelings. And we're at the point now where I don't care about what it takes to get it done, but get it done. So we want results, man. Nothing but results.
So I appreciate it, Coach.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Good luck on the rest of the year.
Hey, shout out 912 Suspense, man. Y'all subscribe for sure.
Say thank you, David. But now the BC Johnson game, the last game of the weekend. I wish it was a little bit of a closer game for the last game of the weekend. But Johnson, they came out to make a statement after the night before. They felt like they got robbed that first night.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that they were upset about what happened the night before against Savannah High. Seemed like what I just said with Savannah High, they came out this next night, hold a lot more energy, just was ready to go, knew how they wanted to play the game. And then BC, that's not their full team, so it's just kind of really hard to critique them. But big shout out to number 2, man. 5'1" freshman Ben Harvey came out, hit the first 3 of the game, had everybody in the arena going crazy.
Yeah, I was going crazy.
I was lit, but nah, he's gonna be all right.
Yeah, he finished the game off with 7 points. Caleb Jones would put up 19, 4, and 5. He did foul out a little bit, maybe midway through the fourth. I think that's a big impact.
That last call was
Yeah.
That last call was some BS. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. These refs down here. It's refs everywhere, but boy, refs need to.
But back to the Johnson thing. Johnson had 3 players that scored over 15 points. They would have Caden Davis put up 19, Joshua Quarterman put up 18, and Kamara Jones put up 17. They were spreading the ball down.
Caden was hot early. I want to say he came out, hit like the first 3 threes or something. Caden was hot super early.
So he was hooping. But luckily, we were able to catch all those games. We're excited for basketball season to start up. I personally kind of enjoy it a little more.
Didn't we talk to Coach Chuck too?
Oh, we did talk to Coach Chuck. We're going to go straight to the Coach Chuck. We are here with Coach Campbell, head coach of the Johnson Adams Smashers. Y'all just got your first win of the day. Y'all were in a close one yesterday. What did you tell your kids going in the game today after the hard loss yesterday?
I told them to go ahead. Today's a new day. The sun is out. But also, I knew this would probably be a trap game. You know what I'm saying? Because they were so hungover from last night. As you can see, we came out sluggish. You know what I mean? A couple of little mistakes here and there, but we always play down to our level of competition. You know what I'm saying? I tell them they got to kill a mosquito with a sledgehammer, but they got it together. It's all good.
So after the game, you had 3 players with over 15 points. Y'all spread the ball very well tonight. Is that something y'all practice a lot, or is that just kind of happen tonight?
Every day in practice. I always tell them that make your brother better. All right, that's your brother. Share the ball. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know Josh our horse. You know what I'm saying? But I always tell him that he'll make y'all look good if y'all knock your shots down. He could trust y'all. But but I always tell him spread the love. Anybody could go. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to get a bucket, set a play up, or I put it in my horse hand and give me a bucket.
So, congratulations on the win again. Good luck with the rest of your team.
Thank you.
And back to you, future David.
Thank you.
Thank you, Past Dougal. I appreciate you putting in the work and effort to talk to the coaches after the game. If y'all like the interviews and stuff like that, let us know. We want to get a little bit more. We were trying to catch the players as well, but the schedule on this event was just too close. We didn't have enough time to charge phones, to interview, to do whatever.
We were missing a cameraman, but it's all good, though. Next one, it's going to be even more better.
I enjoyed being a basketball season. I think it was chill for me. I just could sit here and take stats the whole time while you got to film. But ultimately, it was a great event. We really do appreciate all the coaching and people that put that event together. Shout out to Mike Hostelo.
Big shout out to Mike.
Big shout out to Mike. But anyways, we're going to go in on Thursday episode. We're going to talk about the Final Fours. We do got some news on the state championship. We won't talk about that yet until we get the definite, but it's...
Man, they trying to hold us out, man. They don't want us to be great, bro. They don't want us to be great.
But
they don't want y'all to be great, bro.
But until Thursday episode, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram if you haven't. Share with your families. Make new accounts. Our subscribers are going up. Make sure y'all watch the last 2 basketball videos. They already had a K view in a day, so we definitely are putting up some numbers right now. But until Thursday episode, peace.